Hi, my name's Illiana, and I'm here to tell you about my debt story. I'm the oldest of 5 children. My parents are both immigrants from Latin America. My mother came from Puerto Rico, my father from Colombia. My father does not have a college degree, and most of my aunts and uncles, his brothers and sisters, don't have college degrees. My mother does have a college degree, and she's actually a special education teacher. Um, I am the first to graduate from a four-year university on my father's side. I attended Harvard College as an undergrad, and I graduated in 2005 with a degree in Romance Languages and Literatures and the comparative study of religion. For my undergraduate studies, I took out approximately $16,000 in loans because my father, even though he never went to college himself, was, I guess, terrified at the thought of having to be so deeply in debt just for one of his 5 children to go to school. So he basically refused to take any part in my in the financial contribution to my education. So my mother and I, my parents are divorced, had to foot the bill essentially, and yeah, so I still have $16,000 in debt, probably more than that because the interest has accrued, and I haven't paid any of it back yet because immediately after I finished my bachelor's degree, I went into graduate school. I did a PhD, which I just finished in 2011. Which I'm very proud of. I'm the first doctor in my family, doctor of anything. And I'm really proud of what I've accomplished. But at the same time, I think that for me, I have a lot of anxiety about how I'm going to pay back these loans. Although my graduate program was fully funded, because I didn't have my father's support and, my mother is only a teacher, so she doesn't make a lot of money, I had to take out an additional roughly $5,000, I think, while I was in graduate school. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to start paying back any of that 20 grand that I have from my undergrad or graduate education because I'm going to veterinary school now. And if I had just started working now, I would have, started paying off the 20 grand and probably, would have been able to pay it off in 10, 15 years or less. But veterinary school is extremely, extremely expensive. It costs just as much as medical school and law school. I estimate that I'll probably have to take out, over all 4 years, $250,000 in loans, which is astronomical. It's especially, and it's an especially heavy burden because veterinarians do not make as much as lawyers or doctors, and many states have cut programs that help vets pay back their loans through service in rural areas. Veterinary schools in most states have had dramatic cuts in funding or have had their funding from the state completely removed, which is why tuition rates have gone up. And I had to think long and hard before, I decided to commit to getting this second doctorate and completing veterinary school, or applying to veterinary school actually, because it's a lot of money. I will graduate with close to $300,000 in debt to do something that I love and to do something that I'm passionate about. And to essentially be a public servant, because no matter what area of veterinary medicine you work in, you end up, helping either control populations of feral cats and rabbits and things of that nature. If you work with the food production, you make sure that the food that people eat are safe. You help prevent and treat zoonotic diseases, so diseases from animals don't come into humans, like mad cow and stuff like that. Or if you're just, a small animal vet and you're taking care of people's cats and dogs, that's still a pretty valuable service, especially given how important animals are these days to individuals. And I'm really passionate about this, and it's unfortunate that I'm going to be really financially stressed at the end of my 4 years of veterinary school. I know that many schools, including my undergraduate at University of Harvard, have instituted fantastic financial aid packages, but unfortunately they didn't do that while I was an undergrad. So that's why I have that chunk of undergraduate debt. So yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm divided between being extremely proud of what I've accomplished and excited about the path that I'm about to start, and then also being terrified at the thought of being in so much debt. So anyway, that's my story. Thanks for listening.